Des?
Struggling to get up for the game. A game where it could have been 9 or 3 points against a fellow London rival at the Emirates. What?
He looks depressed, and I think he's got every right to be. That's a huge cause for concern. To say that your team are lacking motivation, especially in these big games. These games you should wake up, bounce out of bed and fly onto that pitch raring to go. You don't need a team talk after time. You've done your work during the week. But this team, as soon as they came out, JJ said, they look like they're up for it. They look lethargic. Yeah. And that rang true from word go today.
Well, that's what I was going to say. You bounce out of bed and you're excited about a game of football when you're enjoying football and when you're enjoying your role within a football team. And I don't know if those players truly kind of believe exactly what what he's bringing to the table right now. I think I do believe we'll get to see the best of Sarri at some point. But right now, I think he's struggling to convince not only the fans, but I think there's a few players on that pitch that think it can be done in a better way. And that's why you get one or two, maybe, that kind of go, what's the point? What's the point of making that run if it's not going to come? What's the point of, why isn't he playing there? That's all it takes. And in a split second, you're too late and it gets a bit sloppy and you're not that sharp when you go onto the pitch. And that's just what it looked like to me.
He's a worried man, isn't he? And he's taken a long time to come out of that dressing room. He's gone out of the way to bring an interpreter in because he fully wants to explain himself because he's embarrassed by the performance. And he could see it coming. He couldn't get a reaction from the group. He's been talking about them being complacent in games and managing games but not killing teams off, that killer instinct. And that comes from the manager, from motivation. We know it's a difficult group to point the finger at these players. It's been a group of players that have been with a succession of different managers. And essentially, we talked before the game about it's the same group, except for Costa's no longer a part of the team. So what's the difference? It's almost as if that you have to impress the players when you go in there as the manager. And you can be the one that's on trial. And he's allowing that to happen. I don't know what was said in that dressing room, but he's got to switch it back now to the players and make them aware of their performances. It's down to the players. He gives them direction. Everybody wants to blame him and say, well, look, why is Kante not playing in position? Why is there not a centre forward? He is giving excuses to the players, but they were not up for this game today. This is a North London derby game against West London team from Chelsea. You've got to be up for it, and it just wasn't there today, and that's alarmed him more than anything else.
I don't know. When he came over here, immediately there was a reaction with his team. Yeah. There was an immediate reaction from a tactical perspective, but also the intensity and with this team, it changed straight away. And everyone was singing his praises. There were players coming out talking. Hazard had a spring in his step again. He looked like the old Hazard again playing. He had. I've spoke to David Luiz only this week, talking about the way he plays is brilliant. The way he trains us is to possession-based football.
So you've got no indication from your time with David
no.
this week that he was on the quiet after the interview goes to your man. It's a nightmare.
No, normally when you see a couple of players, normally you see a few players, after the cameras go off, there's a little conversation that happens. Actually, you know what? It's a bit difficult in there at the moment, but we're going to get through it. There wasn't any of that with David Luiz. He looked content. He looked happy with the way that the things were going.
I can imagine his training's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody loves a little possession-based game in training when it's sharp and, everybody's keeping the ball and then you're at it. But that is not transforming into goals or chances or,
So is it...
But it goes back to the point of a number 9. I think not any player on that team looked confident in passing the ball forward into the centre-forward area. Until Giroud come on, they didn't really play the ball into the forward area. So you're taking an important, effective pass out of your team from word go without having someone up front.
Lack of flexibility.
Yeah, well, Giroud's on the bench. He should be, I think you should just play him.
Well, that's just like for like. Has he even played a different system yet? Because he's obviously very in his ways with regards to Jorginho. Jorginho is going to be playing, and I get the feeling that the minute Higuain lands, he's going to be exactly the same. They're going to be immovable within their team no matter kind of what happens. So, will it still be the 4-3-3 all the time? When his team is struggling, I think, what else have you got up your sleeve to help your team out? And I've not seen anything yet.
There hasn't been a plan B.
When you look at all these new managers goes into place, and what sort of manager is he? And he seems to me one of these command managers. So when they set out to play, it seemed to me that when they went forward, it was one fullback that went forward and one sat. It seemed to me that Kante, although coming all the way back, would fly forward to try to create an extra player. It would seem that Hazard would tuck in and William would tuck in, coming in off the lines, making it difficult for the opposition to play against them when they had a striker. To take that striker away, it's unbalanced. They don't have the same movements, but there was clear messages at the start. So those commands were accepted and everyone could see and felt it was good. But now when he needs a little change, it seemed to be a long time before Giroud was coming off it wasn't until the 70th minute. Yeah. These things have got to happen quicker.
But I think these changes and flexibility within this team have been waiting to happen from the week that, I forget the exact game, when teams worked out Jorginho, because he was the conductor, everything was going through him. Once he was shut down, it was the Spurs game, wasn't it? Once he was shut down, and everyone thought, oh, I've got your number now, what are you going to do now? That's the question you get asked. Great managers have flexibility within their tactics. At the moment, I don't see that in Sarri at the moment.
Being in that midfield area as well. You know, I've played in a 3 when I was at Spurs. We had Michael Carrick as the deeper line 1. I played where Kante plays, and we had Edgar Davids on the left-hand side. And, you know, for Carra, at times, as good as he was in that area, the minute a team realise he dominates the game, they start getting around him. And he'd say to me, Jay, just switch me for a second. You know, you need movement in there. You need to be able to kind of have a little bit of freedom to get Jorginho free. So today, when Aaron Ramsey's following him all over the place, he needs to get out.
Run him away.
Run him away. And go, come on, let's have some movement
I think you've got to look a little bit at the group, and you've got to look at if they're going for first place and first place is available, they're still up for it. When first place isn't available, they start to fall through the table. You know, if you look at what they've done in recent times, they've had some. They went to 10th.
It's an attitude
They went to 10th at one point. They went to 6th from being champions, and you can lose this group very quickly. He's worried about that, and he has to stop the slide because they're in the top 4, and there's Manchester United now, you know, a sleeping giant for a little while, but they're coming good again. Arsenal.
You winding me up?
They were. What have they won? They haven't won a Premier League for 5 years.
Right,
so
mate.
suddenly,
How many? When's the last time Arsenal won one?
It was 14 years
ago.
All
right, gentlemen.
14 years ago. But Chelsea have won 5 in that period.
Pardon?
So you have to respect them, Chelsea.
Sleeping Giants, a bit
but they've lost their way.
Sleeping giant, that's a bit. I think it's a bit hard.
I thought that might offend
They're not
you.
sleeping anymore.
So look, just a few crucial questions. Can he play? You know, he came over with this Sarri ball thing, didn't he? He was going to be the high press and loads of energy, and they were going to dominate possession and dominate teams. Can he do that with this current set of players, or do we now need to see, after 6 months, Chelsea go into the transfer window? We know that Higuain may well be on his way. That might solve a big problem up front.
No, I think they showed signs in the early part of the season. I think a lot of us have watched games live as well, here with BT, and we were like, wow, this is impressive. He's put this in place. He's got his philosophy right on with these guys at the moment. The training must be bang on every day. But then, again, you need that flexibility. You need a plan B. And I'm yet to see that with this Chelsea team. Teams have worked out how they play, and teams are pressurising them and really not allow them to play through the middle of the pitch.
He's been let down real by his strikers, hasn't he? Morata and Giroud. They've hardly got a goal between them. It's not enough.
Well, Morata's not been in the last 2 squads. No team in the top 6 has scored fewer goals.
If you put the 2 strikers in the Arsenal team, in the Chelsea team today, it would solve their problems. You know, Arsenal have got that.
So could Higuain be the answer? Could that solve that focal point up front?
They bought Giroud, yeah. Giroud isn't known for his goal-scoring ability. He's not there for his goal-scoring ability. No. He's there for his effect. He's effective. He can his effect. He's effective. He can pin 2 defenders. He can take care of 2 defenders, and then players can play off him. What was Hazard saying when he first come here? He was playing into him, running off him, because he knew once I play it into Giroud, I'm getting it back. He knows what he's getting. That's a platform to play from.
Yep.
I think the final question really is about Sarri. To come out just now and call out his players' attitude for a game as big as this, that shows how desperate he is.
He's right,
and how worried he is, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is. He's and he's got to get that back quickly.
OK, loads of comments coming in on social. Let me just share a few with you. We saw better football under Conte, says P20. Sarri ball has been nothing short of a massive disappointment. 2.5 seasons of mediocrity. This is Atat, says, why am I watching Sorry ball, not Sarri ball? Ozzy Osgood says, time we woke up and realised he's a myth, along with his Sarri ball and his boy Jorginho. This is worse than AVB or Conte last year. You need to start challenging him on this. Same team, no plan, players out of position, right in front of all our eyes. I hope you feel we have fronted up with the issues. Safra says, Conte's era, suffer without the ball. Sarri's era, suffer with the ball. Nick McKenzie, another shocking performance from Chelsea. Sarri's clueless and only knows one way to play, so when teams shut them down like Arsenal did, we have no other options. Kante is a shadow of himself. Hazard will leave if this continues, and he's not a number 9. We've got to go to a break, but are Chelsea fans being a bit too harsh there, or they're still in the top 4, or do you share their concerns that strongly?
I do, yeah. I do share the concerns. You know, that is a strong squad of players that he has at his disposal. And yeah, top four's top four. Is that what? I don't think Chelsea are about top four personally, so it's not going too well at the minute.
Okay. You can hear the music. That means it's time for an ad break. Letting us know it's time to go to a break. Lots more still to come. Thanks for your comments so far. Keep them coming in. Fascinating conversation, by the way, so thanks for that. See you in a moment.
Maradona, what was the craziest thing you saw him do? Like?
Maradona was represented to the team, to the whole city, something special.
Who is the greatest Chelsea player? You, this guy, or this guy?
Just me and Torre on the floor, they play the whole years. And if we had also Gigi in there, we would have won the league. I take this, I take all of them.
It would be, probably a younger version of what Rio did. No sponsors on Rio's kits and all that.
It's a really good little show, so check it out on YouTube. Right, let's move on then. Actually, it was interesting when the teams came out today. There was a huge banner in the Chelsea end saying Petr Cech, Premier League legend. He will sort of start his farewell tour to the Premier League between now and the summer, having announced that he's going to retire. And Rachel sent us his love letter to Petr Cech. Have a look.
There's only one way to describe Big Pete, and that is a Chelsea legend. Obviously he's won all the domestic trophies and holds all the clean sheet records, but we will never forget him for that one night in Munich. Saved 3 penalties, pulled off many world-class saves, and ultimately was the main man responsible for making us win the Champions League. What an absolute hero, and it would be great to see him back at the club at some role in the future.
You wanted him at your club, didn't you?
Yeah, around 2004 he signed for Chelsea, and it was mooted that United might be interested in him because we was having a bit of a transition of goalkeepers at that time. And he signed for Chelsea, and in the years after I was thinking, wow, we missed out because he was formidable. His size, he's intimidating, he had a great presence about him, cool, calm, and made big saves at big moments. And he was when you spoke to any of the lads at England, like Frank and that, about how good is he? Listen. He's brilliant. You look behind you and you're pleased when you look back and see him. So he was a great...
Let's not forget he came back from a really bad injury. He fractured his skull. And he had to wear that cap really for most of his career. Outstanding. He's on that list of perhaps the top 5 goalkeepers that we've ever seen in the Premier League. Where he is on that list is debatable. But
where do you think he is on that list?
I think he's probably in the top 3 or 4 in the list.
With?
Well, I think Schmeichel, Seaman. The likes of De Gea, I think now is taking things to another level with his saves with his feet. Van der Sar as well was very underrated. Came to Manchester United quite late in the day from Fulham, and you could hardly beat him. The way that wingspan he seemed to have. There's been a lot of good goalkeepers over the years, and Petr Cech, Seaman's up there. I mean, I think it was inspiring for us whenever we asked him to make a save. Invariably, he made it. And when you see a goalkeeper pick one out of the top corner on its way into the back of the net, you feel almost invincible. And Dave certainly had that about him. So, yeah, he's up there. But he's also, actually, if you meet him, Petr Cech, there's an intelligence about him. I think he should be staying in the game as a coach. And this is where it's like at Arsenal, I'd like us to fight for what I've considered to be the right sort of people. You know, he might be taken back to Chelsea to be a coach, but if I was around the club, I'd be saying, he's not going there. He's going to work for us. Because I think you want the right people in the building, his work ethic, the way he conducts himself, the role model. I think he's an outstanding individual, and he's been a great success.
I had a conversation with Emma Hayes yesterday, who's obviously the Chelsea ladies head coach. Yeah. And she was giving me a little bit of insight into Petr Cech, and how much more of a leader he is than people think, because he's not screaming and shouting. He's more... he's got that quieter voice, but people listen when he talks. But also, he goes out of his way to do things. When they had their big FA Cup finals or big games throughout the season, he would go in and do a whole kind of like presentation on how to prepare their minds and how important these special moments are in their career. Correct, yeah. Now, Martin talks about the man. I'm not sure I came across many people like that in my career. Going out of their way to do things like that and have an influence on others in that way and try and help them through big moments. And you're right, Martin. It's how many more do Arsenal just drift away out the doors? You're talking about people like Rantov.
What he was great at, he could snuff an attack out like that. Could come out and claim a ball. we'd be playing sometimes, and someone would whip a ball in the box. The other keepers would be scared to come out and get. He'd clear everyone out of the way, come out and take the ball. And that's disheartening for a team sometimes when you see that happen. We can't put the ball in the box. He keeps coming and claiming it.
Yeah, but it breathes energy into us.
Into the other team, yeah. The other team start building.
Jens Lehmann was one of those. He would come in for everything, crosses.
He'd miss a few, though, wouldn't he? He wasn't consistent.
He didn't miss many because he was 49 games. It was 49 games before he played in a losing team, by the way.
Was it? You had good defenders, though, didn't you?
Well, no, we had a good goalkeeper.
Good. What about the goalkeepers that you play with over your career? Who sort of... Did you have a particularly good relationship with any... Go on.
Yeah, with Van der Sar came, he had bags of experience.
Impressive.
In his 30s, he came to United, and he was ridiculous. Left, right foot. He said, get the ball, and he'd have all the time in the world, and I'd run up the pitch, and he'd shift it on his left foot and kick it out, and I think... Are you taking the mick? He was unbelievable. But he came up with massive moments, saves that you thought he shouldn't make sometimes.
Yeah. What does that do for you?
Confidence. And what he was good at was taking criticism as well, because I was a moaner. So if a goal went in I didn't agree with, or I thought he should have come, I'd scream and shout at him, and he wouldn't even say a word. He'd just brush it off, and that just transpired through the team.
You had an issue. If anything went in near post, you weren't happy, were you?
Yeah, and he had a calmness that transpired through the team, and you need that. You don't want panic.
I think that's the word there. For any defence or a centre-half, in the moment of chaos, when balls are flying across the box or it's right on top and you're under pressure, you need one person to be able to just go, calm down.
They're a different breed,
I can
aren't
handle
they?
this by either catching it, taking the time, and the best do that.
David Seaman was so laid back in the dressing room, he was almost asleep. You know, and Neville Southall was the complete opposite. And we didn't mention Neville Southall. What an outstanding goalkeeper he was. Totally different animal. Pace that he had around the goal. He was an animal. He was fearless. And he would pluck out saves. But Dave was measured, calm. And you used to have to sort of get Dave. Dave, are you nervous? He's just that big laugh, you know. That used to give you, and
good.
He just used to give you that confidence that he'd be there when you needed him.
You know what? But David De Gea is different. But he didn't come in with experience. He came in as a young kid, huge potential, and a lot of the players when we first saw him was like questioning, like, is he going to be good enough?
Well, everyone did. Do you remember that first season? Everyone was like, what is this guy?
His frame, he was skinny.
Around,
he was missing shots. He looked like he weren't seeing balls quick enough, and. Again, that goes back to coaches seeing the potential and believing and trusting in these young kids to come through and giving him that time. And that's what we're asking of managers to do now with these young players. Callum Hudson-Odoi we're asking about it at Chelsea. Give him the time. He's a perfect example, David De Gea, of someone who came into a huge club, huge potential, big price tag, who was given time to excel. And look at him now, the best in the
thing
world.
about De Gea was his performance recently against Tottenham. We're actually talking about the goalkeeper's goalkeeping saves, you know. Because we're talking about Ederson and Alisson, the great passers of the ball. Well, actually, he's there to make a save. With his feet as well, I think he's taking it to another level.
The world is changing. Mark Wallace says, Petr Cech, a true professional and absolute star for Chelsea. Great to have him back at Stamford Bridge in a suitable role next season. Martin's already got eyes on keeping him here. Mr DT says, we may have signed him at the end of his career, but I'll always be grateful to Petr for what he's done whilst here, a model pro who had an unbelievable career. And Babiana says, Cech was such a beast, unbeatable. I trained myself to never cheer a goal against Chelsea until I saw it hit the net. Very good. Thanks for your comments so far. Thanks.